So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're back on the Pottscast. It's been a while since we've had an episode, but we are having an MMA episode today, and we are previewing LFA 127. Today's guest on the show, you should recognize the surname. Her sister has been on the show in the past. It is Lisa Mauldin. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Delighted to get you here. And the first thing we have to come right out the gate and ask is your sister sent me a question for you. Apparently, you like to steal clothes on her. You have a shirt that belongs to her, and she wants it back. And she wants to know, when is she getting this shirt back?
Talk about the gray shirt. I already gave it back. So funny. We're grateful for to each other for taking our stuff. So she got it back a couple times we've seen each other. She got it back a while ago, but she got it.
Well, so there you go. Till you got it back, you probably just lost it. Is probably what's happened here. But we'll get into a little bit of your story before we get into the LFA stuff and kind of preview what's coming up next week. About MMA in general and martial arts in general and fighting in general. Where did it begin for you? Where did it start?
It started with my brothers and sisters. We all did it together. So I was kind of the last of the siblings to jump in because we all did karate together. My brothers and sisters are already ahead of me, so I had to play catch up really fast because they knew everything, and I was just trying to catch up. So we all did karate together. We competed together. I did and when we competed, I did forms and some point sparring, and they call it continuous sparring. I wasn't that good at either of those. I didn't have really the drive. But then at the end of my journey of karate, at the end of what was it? They put me in the wrong weight division, and I had to spar these girls that were a lot bigger, and I didn't realize until after. And I was like, at one point, was forced to hit back really hard because in a way in karate you have to control your power, but in this tournament we didn't. So me and this girl just started going ham on each other on this continuous sparring, and I was like, okay, I lost. I ended up losing, but I was like, I kind of like this stuff. I like it. And then that's when I found out I was, oh, okay, this girl's a lot bigger. I was in the wrong weight division. And then we transitioned to Muay Thai. At the time, Muay Thai and Jujutsu, we didn't do so much wrestling, which would have, yeah, we really needed that at the time. But it was, yeah, we transitioned to Muay Thai and Jujutsu.
Was it hard to transition into a Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, especially from, well, more so the Jiu-Jitsu side from a karate background? Did you find that difficult at all?
I felt like what was more difficult was Jujutsu because you're doing all these movements that your body's not used to. Whereas like when I transitioned from karate to Muay Thai, you have to sit down on your punches. Everything's a lot more heavier. You have to turn your hip over on certain things. You can't be so light on your feet like you are in karate. But I felt like it was easier to pick up. But jiu-jitsu was just like, what the heck am I doing? I don't know what is an armbar. Why am I getting mounted? It took a while for me to understand jiu-jitsu. I'm still learning jiu-jitsu. I'm still learning everything.
And the nuances of jiu-jitsu as well, like just like you said, the arm bar, knee bars being mounted, everything. Was that something you enjoyed learning and going through? Because
Oh
traditionally
yeah.
for a lot of people to start when they start jiu-jitsu, it's really, really tough. There's a lot of losing at the start. And how do you
Oh
adapt
yeah.
to that?
Get tapped out like 20 times by freaking everybody. But yeah, it was hard for me to pick up. But at the same time, I enjoyed learning. It was frustrating at times, I will admit. I was just like, oh my God, I just don't want to do this anymore. But you just gotta like push through that and get that crap out of your head. Once you start to finally get your groove and get your rhythm and find your paths, it's all like smooth sailing.
And what you mentioned that you started it a little bit later than the rest of your siblings. What age then did you really kind of start getting heavily involved in? Obviously, karate was your starting block, but whenever you started to do jujitsu and Muay Thai, etc., what age group or what age were you around that period?
About 17, 17, 18. I can't really say which exactly one, but I would say 17. Um, as far as Muay Thai and Jujutsu.
And did that have a big impact? Were you serious about it at that stage? Was it something you could see yourself doing to go and be a professional fighter, or was it something you were doing as a casual, as a hobby, and it kind of grew?
Honestly, I loved it. I loved it. I think what they called me back in the day, they gave me a nickname. They called me a gym rat because I didn't have a car or anything. I would run to the gym and I would literally stay in the gym all day and just do all the classes and then go home. I would get right sometimes and then come back to the gym, but I loved it so much that I literally stayed in the gym all day and that's all I wanted to do. I guess you can say I was more passionate, and then I got more involved in they call them smokers. I got involved in Muay Thai smoker fights. It's more geared towards like experience than it is like a record. I got involved in those, and then eventually I did amateur Muay Thai. I did a couple amateur MMA fights, but not as many I did with Muay Thai or kickboxing.
And when you started to do those fights, even though at an amateur level, was the desire going, oh, there's actually a pro division of this in various companies, various organizations, and that was the goal? Or was it still a bit of exploration maybe at that point?
Yeah, it was always a goal to turn pro, but I was always like, that's why I wish I would have turned pro earlier, because I didn't like, I always in the back, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I always thought I was like, I need more work. I need more fights. I need more experience. But I wish at that time I already had turned pro. I wish, because I felt like if I had turned pro, I probably would have had at that level of experience to go further, if that makes sense. I guess you can say I held myself back in a way, and I wish I had turned pro earlier.
Do you think maybe now, and we're looking at the modern day MMA landscape as well, with obviously the multiple organizations that there are now, with the amount of cards that say UFC are putting out, Bellator doing two next weekend as well. Do you feel now that the opportunity is there for people? You know, maybe not to say it's easier now, but there's more opportunities now for people to be seen to get fights than perhaps it was whenever you were starting out and trying to get into the pro scene?
Definitely. I think there's so many platforms right now. There's freaking Eagle FC, there's UFC, there's Bellator, there's PFL, there's even lower promotions that give many fighters opportunities, giving their level experience. They have these higher platform or bigger promotions, example LFA, they even have amateur fights on there. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for a lot of fighters.
That's obviously a big thing for you as well. And speaking of opportunity, the opportunity has came up for you in LFA 127. You are getting ready for a fight. How excited are you to get back in there? Because it's been a period of time for you. You know, I think it's nearly been around 2 years, if I'm right, or just under 2 years, just over 2 years, somewhere in and around there.
I'm very excited. I'm excited to see how I perform and how I get to use some of the tools that I've been wanting to use for so long. And I don't want to give so much, but I'm excited. I'm excited just to like punch somebody in the face or feel that kind of pressure or to give pressure and whatever. I'm really excited. It's been a long time.
The fact that there's been a period of time, is there nerves again, or is it like you know what you're doing, you're just excited to go?
Whenever I have a fight, I always have nerves. So I just instead of like, oh my God, or like try not to feel those nerves, I just embrace it because I think that's natural. I think anybody's gonna just have nerves, you know. For the most part, I'm really excited. It's been a while, and to see my sister like come fight and fit a lot of her. Oh my gosh, it's exciting. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for her.
I got to throw that at you now because you've brought her up and because you're saying you're excited for her. How far can she go, in your opinion?
She is, oh man, the sky's the limit. I don't want to give too much details for her because I don't exactly know if it's for sure, but she has some plans that or goals and plans that she has set out to do. But damn, should I say it? No, I don't even. But let's just say the future is bright for her, and she's gonna do some good things.
Yeah, I mean, she's certainly made a really good start to her professional career in the LFA, and obviously, like you mentioned, the sky's the limit for her. But even bringing it closer to home, LFA for you is somewhere that you've done well in. LFA really well. You're going back there, and you're going to fight coming up this weekend or next weekend. Sorry. So, tell me about this. Growing up in fight week, what happens in fight week? What's your mindset like? Where are you going?
uh,
Is it countdown till Friday? Like, what goes on inside a fighter's mind?
well, a lot of every fighter is different, I think, or could be similar. Me, I like to I tunnel vision. I don't know. Oftentimes, I don't really talk. I'm very like to myself. Uh, if I watch a lot of like footage, fights. Um, I drill a lot. That's my week of drilling, and then obviously cutting weight. But yeah, yeah, I'm very like, I don't know why. Even on like fight day, I'm very quiet. I'm to myself. I'm not so talkative. I don't know why. I'm talkative now today, but I'm very like just quiet.
Game face is on. Fight week is on
Yeah.
us. Tell me about. Do you know much about your opponent when you're going in this weekend? Do you do a little bit of scouting, or are you very much focused on your own game?
I focus on my own game, but I also like to know certain like who I'm going up against. I know that she's strong, she's well rounded. Uh, I think she's a heavy hitter. She's durable. She has heart. So it's gonna be a good fight. I don't focus or like people talk about records, but records could be you. Just I think it depends on who you fight. So she has a good she has a good uh sorry, what is the word I'm looking for? She fought some really tough people, and she didn't do bad. So yeah.
It's going to be a good fight either way, and like you mentioned, she's tough, she's durable, she's well rounded, and you're going in there and you've got the karate background, the jiu-jitsu background, the Muay Thai background, a little bit of boxing background as well. So tell me about the different elements of your camp. What specifically, I'm not going to ask specifically what you're doing. I don't want you to give anything away, so to speak, but tell me about, the different things that you're doing to prepare for this fight.
I want to say different. I'm just like I try and work on everything, my striking, my boxing, my wrestling, my jujitsu. I don't just solely focus on one element or one thing. I try and touch all areas, clinch, like literally everything. So I try not to focus on one thing at all.
And what about your coaches? What is your team like for you? How important is your team? How important is that support system for you? What is that close group of people like to have around you? How important are they to you?
Man, my team is awesome. My team. Oh no, my team is awesome. I can't even like they they are literally there in wrestling and our morning practices, our night practices. They show up if yeah, no, I can't even like if I have a question, I have to, how did I get caught in that guillotine? This is how. If how are you throwing your right hand? Oh, it's because you're not moving your damn head. Move your damn head. They're there. They help me. No, like when we do our circuit training, they're there holding pads for me. They're there working jujitsu with me. They're grappling with me. They're they're cool. So it's not like certain people work with certain people. Everybody works and helps each other. So that's what I appreciate a lot.
Another thing with your team as well, your family obviously play a big role. Taylor did mention to me whenever I asked about, potential questions for you for this conversation, she said to bring up the warm up. Actually, the paces that you put her through on her last fight, she said you give her a very intense warm up. Is that something you do yourself, or tell me specifically about this warm up? Because I can see you laughing there. There must be more to this story.
Oh, I don't know about. I wasn't trying to give her a little intense warm up. I was because wait, did you say that when we were in the back?
I'm not sure. She just mentioned for her last fight there was a really intense warm up that you gave her. So what is that all about? And are you a big believer in intense warm ups, or is this a specific story that we need to hear on the airwaves?
Well, I think it's more of the nerves. I think she was just like, I gotta do something, and I can sense that, and I was just like, all right, here, I'm your person. I will work with you, so I know how I am because I'm kind of the same way. But we were warmed up in the back, but I can feel her like because she just wants to punch somebody hard in the face. But I was taking all the shots, and I was just like, oh shit, maybe I should have wore headgear, maybe some shit or something. So I'm just getting up in the back, and I was just like, just take it, just whatever. It's your sister's fighting. And no, she was that was her warm up. It was a trend. I was just like, hey, you want to touch spar a little bit? But she was over here like, bah, 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 bah. I was like, oh my god.
I mean, if there's a warm up for your fight and you're asking her to do it, I just wonder if there's a little bit of reciprocation maybe next week.
I'm pretty sure there will be. I hear no complaints.
Just as we begin to wrap this one up, obviously Taylor's involved in LFA. You've known LFA now for a number of years. I believe your first fight in there was in 2019 with LFA. What's LFA like as a company and as an organization, if I can actually get the words out, to fight for and to be a part of?
Oh, it's a huge platform, and it's I love them. They're really good students. They take good care of the fighters because I actually got seriously injured and they helped me take care of it. So I don't know. I am just super grateful for LFA, and I hope that they throw more local fights over here in California, honestly, because California is awesome. But yeah, no, they're expanding so much and so quickly. So I just saw that they were in Brazil, so that was crazy. No,
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, it's crazy. They were in Brazil, and I think they're in Minnesota either next week or the fall, or not next week. Next week's California. I think it's the week after that, or the week after that, they're in Minnesota. But they have done a lot of stuff in California, and obviously being up here in Vancouver, in Canada, California is somewhere that's high on my list. So it would be something that's on my list in terms of a road trip, is getting down and maybe catch an LFA card or something like that on the way through, because they do so many cards of high quality fights as well. And like you mentioned, like the fact you got hurt, they were able to help you. There's not a lot of organizations out there that actually do maybe take the duty of care with the fighter, and it's phenomenal to hear that from a fan. And I say that really respectfully as a fan who sits on a couch and watches a fight. I don't know what happens behind the scenes, but it's really, really cool to hear that there is an organization that has that duty of care for its fighters. And I just love the way you've put that.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that I'm very grateful for because it was a hard pill to swallow at the time finding out those injuries. So
Is that maybe like one of the biggest challenges you face as a fighter in general, is overcoming injuries and getting back to either the level you were at or getting past that level? Or how do you overcome those injuries or those obstacles, so to speak?
uh yeah, every individual is different when it comes to injuries. Mia, I was just very like, because I just wanted to get on the ball and just I wanted to go. I wanted to have fight after fight after fight. But then I was like, man, this shit is holding me back. Like I like it was very frustrating at some point, and it really took some like time for me to like really fix my mind, because it was just like, it was very frustrating because I had 2 major surgeries, and I was just getting like in a groove, like in a it was nobody wants to get put out of training. Nobody wants to get put out of what they want to do and get held back because of an injury. But hey, that stuff is fixed, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Not being held back. I fight next week, so I'm excited.
Absolutely. Next week, we can't wait for it next week as well. But sponsorship as well, you have different people who sponsor you. Is there anyone you would like to give a shout out to going into next week?
ATTC, they've always, from my very first professional fight, they've always sponsored me, and they always me. Knockout Bakery, who we got, Our Life CBD, Kessler Family Wellness. They take care of little injuries, or just to check up on how I'm doing. Why do I feel like I have to rush through this? Homegirl Clothing. My parents, they support me as well. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. I think that's it right now.
Look, what about goals for yourself? One of the big goals for you is to get fighting again. You got over your injuries and you're fighting again. Do you have any long-term goals, or do you just take it fight by fight?
Right now, I have one major goal, and I think that's a lot of fighters that where they want to be. They want well, not they. I want to be in the UFC, so that's one of my major goals that I've always had. So if I can fulfill that, then I'll feel content. I'll feel good. That's where I want right now.
But what about inspirations? Was there anyone who you looked up to growing up, or anyone that you look up to now as a fighter, potentially another fighter? Is there anyone that you take inspiration from?
I would say it would be my parents. They worked really hard to get what they have. They've never seeked help even when they needed it, and I've always there's a lot of things that my parents have and they do, and they inspire me. And actually, at my job, because I work a job too, the business owners that work there, they inspire me as well, because they are literally like 80 years old and they're running this business on their own, and they don't want to stop working. They just show up at the store all the time, just work. And that inspires the heck out of me, because the head business owner, he actually undergone like heart surgery, spine surgery, so many. I'm just like, and this guy just keeps going, and anybody can just be like, okay, I'm done, or like just sit back, or just. But this guy, he just shows up all the time, just tries to work hard. It's just crazy. It's insane. So whenever I see him, I'm always like, do you need help? Do you need this? Just like, I don't know. They turned into my family.
It's phenomenal to hear that, about the hard work and the work ethic going into a fight week. You've put in all the hard work to get here, the fight week, and maybe there's a little bit more work to do this week, and the weight cut and the hardship that comes alongside the weight cut and everything alongside that. But for yourself, obviously the hard work is almost paid off. It's almost fight time and it's almost ready to go. So last question for you as we begin to wrap this up. One of the questions submitted to me was from one of my friends back home in Ireland, and back in Northern Ireland, Belfast. He asked me, he said, ask Lisa, if she had to describe herself as a fighter, how would she describe herself? If I want to tune in and watch her fight, what can I expect to see?
Expect a war. Expect anything. Expect a submission. Expect exchanges. Expect a fight.
My actual response. My actual response to him was like, "This is MMA. Expect anything," because like we have seen Conor McGregor and Jose Aldo. We have seen Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm. We have seen like chaos in an instant, and we've seen long drawn out wars. I think it's part and parcel with the sport and why it's
Anything
so fun to watch.
Yeah, anything could happen. I didn't see that Masvidal's jumping knee to Ben Askren coming. That flying knee. Oh my god.
Oh, it's incredible knee that was, and it really just elevated his career, to the next level, didn't it? The payday that comes with it, the Instagram, the TikTok videos, it just lifted him to such a level where he could then go out and command X amount of money in his next fight. And ultimately, that's kind of what you want to see for fighters. You want to see them well paid and set for life for pretty much doing something which I would say, and I'm not being facetious here, but 99% of the population can't do or wouldn't do, and that's go into a cage and have an actual war with another person.
Yeah, it's crazy too. And like after it's all said and done, and you just it's quite the experience. It's like, wow, I did that. That's
What?
a hell of a thing, because not everybody could do it.
No.
It's a crazy thing.
No, not at all. My parents were here for Christmas and we were watching one of the UFC cards when they were here. And my mom's just sitting going, "This is barbaric. This is awful. How do you watch this?" And I'm just like, I was like, "It's okay, Bob, relax. It's okay." And but just not exposed to it, never seen it before, and just new to the world of MMA. It really is probably the truest form of combat on the planet, realistically.
Yeah, have you seen that bare knuckle? That's pretty intense.
That's insane. That's insane. Like people may say about like different, do certain stars bring attention to it, and I was like, I watched it because Paige Van Zandt was fighting in it. I watched it to see her fight effectively, and it was just incredible. Like it's unbelievable. Like yeah, you got to be seriously crazy to do that one.
I would like to like go to one of those fights live to see what it's like. I mean,
Yeah, even like when you're watching, just MMA stuff, you hear the sounds through the TV, especially during the COVID times, those calf kicks and those punches landing, and I'm like, imagine the bare knuckle stuff, and the sounds of it hitting body parts. I was just like, oh,
I wonder how many people broke their fist or something.
yeah. There's bound to be an injury list as long as your arm coming out of those cards. But this has been a really good conversation. Obviously, excited for next weekend, next Friday, LFA 127. You're getting in there, you're fighting. Closing thoughts on that. Good luck next weekend. Excited to see you do what you do. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving me your time. You can find me anywhere on social media at Potts Pods, Potts, Pods, Instagram, Twitter, the works. Lisa, where are you online? And of course, best of luck next weekend.
Thank you so much. Do you want, I heard the good luck part. My phone cut out.
That's all good. It's the dangers of technology. I just wonder, where are you online? So if any of our listeners want to connect with you, follow you, see what you're up to.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Lisa Marie on Instagram, and Facebook, Lisa Marie Mauldin. I only have those two.
Okay. Perfect. There we have it, folks. Lisa, thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you so much. I had fun.